Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome to another scene in the living world of darkness, Rage Across New York. Tonight's scene finds Garrett Cosma sitting at the chessboards. Across from him lies an empty seat, and he's been spending a lot of alone time lately, other than the patrols, normal patrols for Guardian. Um, Been a lot of stuff going on, rite of passages, and then of course that ever important trip to Wolfholm that the Cubs made. And so he's just kind of been biding his time, and he sits at the chessboard, moving the pieces into place, making sure they're just right. And after some time, a young Lucas Matthias enters the scene. And what is Lucas doing?
Let's see. Lucas went ahead and wandered over to this side of the world, this side of the sept, pretty much after being pillow forted by pillow hands. And so it's unseasonably cold this time of year. It's still winter, but it's still a bit unseasonably cold. So he's got a heavier jacket on. He walks as if he is wandering without much of a purpose, his steps not really lock-stepping, and his eyes just go ahead and wander over the scene rather than focusing on one point.
When Garrett sees Lucas, he'll perk up for a second and get a slight smirk on his face. And he'll quickly stand up and then give him a wave.
His eyes don't necessarily meet your form, actually. He seems to go ahead and glaze over your waving figure and actually moves to continue his walk.
Garrett's smile will fade, and he will approach Lucas and stand in front of him and then wave in front of his eyes. You there?
You go ahead and wave your hand in front of his face, and he goes ahead and follows it. What? Oh, shit. Two hands go ahead and rub up to his face and rubs his eyes. Looks back to you. Garrett?
Yeah, it's me.
Shit. I barely recognized you.
You want to have a seat? And he'll gesture over at the chessboard.
He'll look over at the chessboard and the vacancy, and he'll be like, yeah, sure. Very, very non-committally.
Alrighty then. And Garrett will go find his seat, and assuming Lucas follows.
Yeah. Takes a hot second for him to remember how to turn himself. When he does, he walks over to the chair that's empty. Doesn't sit down, but what he does, he goes ahead and takes both hands and leans on the chair, the head of the chair.
Sure you don't want to sit?
I'm fine.
Okay. And Garrett will take his seat. So you're back.
He goes ahead and nods his head. Yeah.
Rough, I take it?
Garrett, you don't know the half of it.
Yeah, I guess not. You feel like talking about it or what?
Talked a little bit about it with Rin when I touched down. Yeah. Still got a bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah, Umbra will do that to you. So,
You played any good matches, he says? Like, obviously, very, very weakly trying to change the subject.
no, it's been pretty quiet. But I imagine with the Cubs back now, get a lot more noisy again.
Yeah. Yeah.
They
Stony
did.
demeanor is starting to crumble.
They did make it back, right?
Fuck. You see that he goes in and leans more on the chair. You can see his knuckles getting just absolutely fucking white.
Who?
Out of every one of us that went in, most of us got out, but we haven't heard anything from Olaf, Chino, or Maeve.
And as soon as Maeve's name comes out, chess pieces go flying everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And he stands up, and he is giving you a death stare.
You give him a stare, he'll go ahead and try to stare you right back. What?
Let's go talk somewhere else.
Lead the way.
And Garrett will walk further in Sept into a veil-protected area. Try to find a secluded spot where no one else is.
Mm-hmm.
Probably a little, glen of trees and whatnot. What happened?
It was wrong. It was just all wrong. All bad, all wrong. He's looking at you, but he's also pacing back and forth from 2 points, both equidistant to you. We touched down. And it was chaos. Just chaos. All pulling mostly in different directions and then just in the one direction. We got hit by goes ahead and starts to knock his head again as if it's really hard just to remember the words. And he goes ahead and holds up a finger and twirls it around. Monster in the sky. Whirly blades.
A helicopter.
Goes ahead and points. Yeah. That came at us. Ran to shelter to try the den. The den was invaded by dogs and hunters. Nearly lost the new one, Adam, out in the fields. They just kept shooting. They kept shooting, and they tagged him badly. Almost put him down right then and there. First hour in Wolf Home. Almost we had first casualty. Make it to the den. It's not even a den. It's just, I don't know, a collection of trees, some underbrush, just nothing. Just barely shelter. No food anywhere. At all. And then the hunters came at us. And we had to fight them back. And then just when we think we're safe, just when we're starting to bed down, big monster. Big monster. Lots of growling. Headlights, a giant shovel in front of it, start to mow our den down. Yellow. Bulldozer, I think.
You see Garrett start pacing back and forth now as he's listening. One hand rubbing his temples.
Still okay. Still together. People running in all different directions. People running in all different directions. Just outside a village, a little town, lights. And we needed some place to hide again. And we were being driven out of the countryside by just hunters, bulldozers, helicopters, all manners of bullshit. And so it was decided to send me and Albert into town. Sending Albert was a stupid fucking idea. We both found something. We both found a den. Second den. Hard den. Rock floor den. Not soft den. Rock floor den. Hard on paws. But we found it. After we found it. Let's see. Albert, Small Wolf, Omega got spotted by family, one of them, and they rushed away. I think that's what got us. I think the family went ahead and called the other hunters. Don't know. Don't care. We lead them into the second den, and we gotta find more food. And as we're like scavenging, we find just this filth, this rot, disgusting rot. We fling open the loud metal container to get at this rot, and comes walking for them. Animal control with weird pain fire sticks with nets, collar nets. No, collars on stick. I don't know. I don't really care. We had a split second to decide, and I ran at them. I ran at them as hard and as fast as I possibly could. And I took one of them by the legs, tripped them up. When I did that, you notice Lucas goes ahead and slaps his neck right at his throat. They got me. They tagged me with a death sleep dart stuck in my neck. And just as it was all going to go dark, just as I was sure, absolutely freaking sure they were going to take me, I pulled the escape hatch and I fell back home. And that's all I remember.
You left.
Goes ahead and stares at you. I was dead.
And when was the last time you saw the rest of them?
After animal control, general gathering, back at the Karen Heart, they start to spill out. Miss Whisper pretty much caught most of them. Did not see no Olaf, did not see no Chino, did not see no Maeve.
You left.
Looked at you, arms out. What do you want me to do?
You got scared.
Fuck you.
And Garrett will go and grab Lucas's collar and slam him against a tree.
Oh, you do so. He goes ahead and gets slammed against the tree.
You let fear take over.
Goes ahead and looks down at you, and now he's going to go ahead and grab you by the collar. They weren't going to take me back.
You were supposed to be better.
I don't know what the hell you're getting at, Garrett. There's no way, no fucking way they're gonna go ahead and strap me to a chair again and drink me dry.
You let fear take over, and you left her.
They would left me. They would have seen me as a body. And wolves go on. Packs don't stay behind for a dead weight.
And he kind of pulls you back from the tree and then re-slams you against it.
All right. Again.
You left her. And you deserve this. And his fist pulls back.
Mm-hmm.
And it connects with your face.
Connects with his face. There's definitely a heavy impact. Your knuckles go ahead and collide with his jaw, and when you bring it back, his mouth is bleeding.
And then it comes down again.
All right, again.
And you feel your legs kind of buckling underneath you a little bit as it hits again.
About the third time, Lucas is going to go ahead and push himself off the tree and try to push you away. What the fuck, man?
And he's going to attempt to hold you down and pin you to the ground.
What's your strength brawl at?
Strength brawl?
Mm-hmm.
It's at a 5 total dice.
Okay, yeah, let's roll that.
Okay. 3.
Nope, you keep him down.
And the fist cocks back up.
Mm-hmm. You have Lucas definitely at your mercy.
And the blows keep coming, and each time he's like, you left her, you let fear take over, you're no better.
Fuck! He'll struggle. He'll try to block. Your blows go ahead and land more than anything else.
So, most likely as this gets to the point where the two of them are both essentially screaming at each other, borderline incoherently, with the sounds of the fist cracking against flesh and probably, gasps of pain periodically. The pair are going to be inevitably interrupted by what looks suspiciously like a furry bullet. Maebh is still not the biggest of wolves, but she is going to careen into the pair at a full run in an attempt to slam them apart.
Okay. You know what? You blindside Garrett if you're slamming into him.
Yep. If he's the one on top, he's the one who's going to take 90% of the impact.
Okay.
And I mean, it's probably not enough to do much more than like a bit of bashing or two, but she's going to run full tilt.
Yeah, I won't even make you roll for it. You blindside him, and he just tumbles off of Lucas.
Point to note, the damage to Lucas' face now includes bumps, bruises. Definitely got a few shiner. Definitely has at least a shiner.
Yeah, all bashing.
Oh yeah.
All bashing. So it's not lasting very long, but it's there, and there's that kind of coppery tang in there as a result of blood being drawn.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
And once the two are shaken apart of each other, Maebh may as well be some wild dog that just is, the anti-domestic violence dog. Who knows? She does the shove and jumps between them and probably kind of snaps and barks a couple times. And then starts kind of agitatedly shuffling, like clearly unsure of what she's supposed to do at that point, because she doesn't have the rage she had before. She's not going to just leap on Garrett, but her lips are drawn entirely back, her hackles are up, she's just kind of hovering between the pair, and probably snapping anytime either one tries to step towards the other.
Well, Garrett, who just was blindsided and tumbles off, he quickly gets up and takes an aggressive stance, and then he notices who the wolf is, and his eyes go wide. And he takes a step back, then another step back, and kind of stumbles with the third one. And then he looks down at his hands and sees the blood on them. And then looks back at Lucas and Maebh.
Lucas is only now rolling over, spitting the blood out of his face.
And with Garrett's aggressive stance melting away and his entire demeanor changing, he's categorizing himself as a non-threat, at which point Maebh is kind of whirling around to start essentially licking at Lucas's face. It's kind of like a tender wound grooming sort of action. She's going to, at least for the moment, lose interest in everything except the fact that this one, this is her packmate, and he's wounded. And clearly he needs to be comforted and stood over until he is better.
Once Maebh turns around and starts attending to Lucas, Garrett will slowly turn around and walk away. He's leaving the scene.
Lucas is gonna go ahead, and the past few seconds has just been a blur of punching and pain from his friend being condemned as a coward. And then, goddamn, Maebh, coming out of goddamn nowhere. He's gonna go ahead and put both his hands, it's a toss-up whether he wants to go ahead and push Maebh away, or he wants to go ahead and just grab her and never let go.
Well, she's essentially on top of him, doing the little, concerned whimpers and huffs and whatnot, and doing that thing where if you've ever hidden your face from a dog, you know what they do. They nose around, they'll nose past your arms, they'll do anything they have to get to your face so they can lick it. And that's essentially what she's doing at this point.
Okay. As you go ahead and lick, his bruises are going to go ahead and naturally heal because Gabber's healing factor.
Yep.
He goes ahead and he keeps your head right there. He's looking at your wolf face. Maebh?
She'll kind of lap idly at his face, even though she's being held a bit away from it. You just kind of look at him. There's a mild tail wag. She is content. She has one of her packmates back. This is good.
Look of concern on his face. Look at just this fucking belief. When did you get back?
And the canine brows knit a little bit with the concept of when. And she kind of takes a thinking expression as much as a canine can. And finally talks. Not long?
You speak. He reaches up, He grabs you and brings you into a very, very full hug. Oh my fucking god! I didn't know what happened to you!
And she'll take at least a couple moments to just revel in being accepted back by one of her people. Though once that happens, she started kind of getting centered again, and after a good bit of indulging in just kind of wrestling into the hug and licking and grooming at his head, his neck, his shoulders, essentially just happy puppyish behavior, she'll finally have a moment where it occurs to her that they weren't the only ones here earlier. So she'll kind of cast about, like kind of jolt herself properly into a stand again and look around, tail perked, ears up, casting about for Garrett.
He's way off in the distance. If you can still see him, he's walking away. See, if you can still see him, each step is kind of like he's like in a daze.
And unless you would rather me roll, I'm going to assume that she can get a gist of where he went. It's not like he's being sneaky.
No.
He's just wandering. And she'll kind of cast her muzzle in that direction and stare for a good couple seconds, nostrils flaring, and then whip her head back around towards Lucas, kind of finally putting two and two together. And again, her brow knits, and she just goes, "Why?"
Why were we fighting?
Yes.
I told them what happened over the trip. And when he learned that you weren't back, he flipped.
And she'll have a couple moments of kind of back and forth thought. It's obvious that various things are distracting her. Her ears keep twitching around as if swiveling different directions to catch the thoughts that are whizzing by. One in particular, let's roll a fate die to see if it shoves its way to the forefront or if she can not dwell on it just yet. Okay, good. So she'll take a moment to process everything, and then finally, essentially nibble the collar of his shirt, and then back up to give him room to rise. And probably comment offhandedly in a way that's totally unfair. Has he bathed since he got back or anything?
Yeah, he's definitely had a chance to bathe and take a bath.
So he smells like soap and stuff. So yeah, she'll kind of back up and finally issue a teasing sort of sneeze, and then just kind of just put it out there and be like, "You smell like people."
Yeah, I smell like people, but I'm not people. Hold on. He's gonna start walking in the direction that Maebh was pointed at with her nostril flared.
She'll scamper out ahead.
How is it this again?
She'll eventually stick her nose to the grass just to make sure that she's actually following the trail once she gets a certain distance ahead of him.
Yo! He goes ahead and yells out.
To Garrett?
He's yelling out in his direction, yo.
You will get no answer.
Okay.
You will be mercilessly hunted down, aka followed. And unless Lucas wants to beat her to him, which, I mean, he can if he really puts in the effort to get there first, but otherwise she'll be trotting along a bit ahead of him. Once Maebh does catch up, she'll kind of slink around in front of him and nip idly at the hem of his pants, not even at his ankle really, but just to kind of drive him to a stop, or at least to try to.
He's not even gonna look at you, and he's gonna jerk away. He's like, no, go.
She'll pop her head back up and swivel her ears a couple times, look at him, obviously a bit confused by that, and glance back towards Lucas.
Lucas won't advance much further, and if he's got a tree to go ahead and lean on, he'll go ahead and take a chance to lean on it.
Maebh will not stop harrying his ankles. She's going to continue to follow him, probably go for, just, again, very carefully trying to nip the hem of his pants and whatnot to make him stop or turn him around.
After a few more times of him just saying, no, leave me alone, he'll finally whirl around. Go. Be with your packmate. You've been through hell. Go be together. Leave me be. I don't need to be there.
And, we'll go for a slightly less feral gesture where she's essentially just going to, try to snap up a mouthful of a pant leg and kind of lock on it and then sit and brace her front paws.
He's going to look away from you and put one hand on his forehead. I need you to leave me be right now.
She has a mouthful of pant leg, making it hard to answer without letting him go. But she doesn't growl. She just kind of out a protest to the notion.
I just beat the hell out of Lucas. I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't want to see anybody. Just please, go.
She is finally going to have to let go in order to speak. No, her ears have slicked back. Her hackles are still down and everything. It's not an aggressive expression just yet. But so long as Lucas is nearby, she doesn't feel like she needs to stop what she's doing. And she'll kind of bark out the protest that we don't go alone.
I have a pack.
Is he actually walking in the direction of the rock? Or is he just walking off in a random direction?
Yeah, it's that general direction.
Leave him be.
Yeah, at that point she kind of doesn't have an argument. If he's actually heading towards where she somewhere recognizes as the direction of his pack. She'll swivel her ears a couple times. And with Lucas calling, it'll derail her. And she'll finally kind of just start striding back in his direction.
And yeah, he hasn't looked at y'all the entire time, and he starts walking again.
Fair enough. Maebh goes ahead and returns to Lucas. Lucas is, well, as said earlier, leaning against the tree, rubbing his face.
Maeve will busily go about the process of essentially like scent marking him with the like the glands on her cheek and whatnot, just kind of rubbing her face on his pant leg.
You're gonna get ruffled behind the ears, ruffle, 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 ruffle.
How can you be on two legs?
I was born on them.
She snorts and goes industriously about scent marking the other leg as well. Because he smells too much like people, and that's not okay.
You can see that Lucas is definitely gulping a little bit. You can see the it's a miracle. He thinks that what's happening right now is a goddamn miracle. Egan scratches behind your ears and starts to slide down the tree and plant his ass on the ground.
She just kind of bowls into his lap once he gets even remotely low enough for her to go for his face again.
I'm so glad to have you back. I was afraid. I was scared. I didn't know what had happened to you.
You were safe. That was what was important.
You were not, and that is also important.
And finally, with this line of logic, she can't evade the topic that's kind of screaming in the back of her head anymore. And we'll kind of, after a second, hackle a bit and get very insistent. Gino's still there. He wasn't here when I got back. He's still there. He's by himself. I tried to make Miss Whisper send me back. She wouldn't. I tried to make Katori send me back. It went badly. Lucas, he's still there. We have to go back.
It's not for us.
He's by himself.
It's not for us to go back there.
She'll bristle in protest.
What was it like for you?
And she'll start to think about it so that she can process an answer. And it's kind of obvious that she gets sidetracked, and where she was bristling a bit just for the sake of being expressive, her hackles shoot up, her tail bristles all the way out. And she finally, after a moment of kind of casting about mentally for a way to answer, will just snort and turn away a bit and plop her flanks down on the ground and start kind of tenderly grooming one of her paws. It looks fine, but she's grooming it almost like she would an injury.
That bad, huh?
It was
Still fresh?
closed.
I'm sorry, I'm banging around the entire universe. Repeat?
What?
I'm sorry, I'm banging around the entire universe. Ask you to repeat?
Oh, sorry. She just kind of mumbles something along the lines of it was, and after casting around for a while, we'll just say closed. And go to kind of nibble at the base of her claws on each toe. Just kind of, oh look, my foot. How much more important than that thing I was trying to think about.
We survived.
The others faded. Chino and I were together. We ran. He made it. I didn't.
Where'd you end up?
And the initial flood of thought is from the wolf mind. The smells, the very, 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 like almost burning chemical smell, the sanitizers, the smell of other creatures around her, some with a mild tang of blood, though due to the sanitation of the place, there wasn't nearly as much as there probably should have been. It was even smaller, and it was closed, and they all had coats, white coats, but Chino wasn't there. None of you were there.
Gina's free?
He was running when they caught me. I thought he'd gotten away. I thought he would be back. I howled and didn't hear his voice. I didn't hear any of your voices. And I left. I knew he would be here. I knew he would be safe like you were safe. But he's not.
He's free, and he's running. He's strong. He's not gonna get caught again. At least I hope so. Maeve, I'm sorry I left.
She looks earnestly perplexed.
Should have ran. Should have hopped the fence. Should have hopped the fence, and y'all would have all been able to follow me, and we wouldn't have to deal with those tranquilizer darts, and we could have kept running.
She takes a moment to more so access the proper Hamid thought that she possesses. It's not blocked off anymore, but it's hard to cope with. And she still just looks perplexed. There were so many of us. What if one of us didn't jump the fence? What if they were alone? They would have been caught.
As you're draped across his lap and he's sitting down on his ass, he continues to go ahead and scrape.
What at her?
Yes.
Yeah. She's content. The physical contact is very reassuring. If you hadn't lunged, we might have run. If we had run, some of us would have fallen behind. If they fell behind, they would have been taken by the capture sticks. And we would not have been able to get them. We wouldn't have been able to move fast enough. So we killed them.
He goes ahead and nods. Yeah.
You had to go.
I didn't want to go.
But you had to go. You were safe.
What is the matter if I am safe if you are all still in danger?
We would have been in more danger if you had stayed, if you had slept.
No, no. No, no. You would have gone on. You would have continued running.
Then we still would have been in danger, and you would have been in danger.
Don't use wolf logic on me.
She'll, like, mock bite at his nose. It's just like the mouthy motion. She's not actually trying to set teeth on him. She just kind of mouths at his nose, like, yeah, sure. I bite your face.
He'll go ahead and mimic the same gesture by bringing his fingers out and like pinching your nose. He'll even go ahead and put the thumb in between his fingers and wiggle it.
She'll kind of get distracted by mouthing at his hand.
Olaf back?
I don't know. I haven't seen anyone.
Really?
I went to Miss Whisper. I was so angry. And she wouldn't do it. She said I was too important to send back. She said she couldn't risk it. So I ran all the way to the North Woods. And I found Katori. And no matter what I said, I began to think maybe he wouldn't do it. And then he broke. And she kind of looks a little puzzled.
Did he break like last time we were all gathered and hunted up in the northern state?
Worse. I stayed with him. I called down the doves. I didn't know what to do.
You did alright. You did good.
I curled up around him and I slept. Until now. And then I was looking. And I found you.
Yeah.
There's an almost possessive nipple of the color of his shirt again.
Mm-hmm. As far as I remember it, I landed hard. Rin went ahead and picked me up and made sure that I was all right. Cleansed me, healed me, all the wonderful stuff. Then I went around and I found the others. Albert, Cinna, Talia, back.
All of them are back?
Everybody, by that time, it was everybody confirmed to have come back. Even Adam, actually. I wasn't expecting him.
He was with me.
All the
I'm
way?
glad he went back. No, we were in cages. Big cages. And he was in mine.
I was worried about Adam, actually. He was the newest. He was the baby, and he got tagged twice.
That is why I took care of him.
Good.
And she'll
yeah.
kind of cast about and kind of look back towards the cabins as well. And tug at his shirt a bit with her teeth, very gently, and then back up a bit so that he can get up.
They'll go ahead and add that gesturing.
And she'll trot a step or two in the appropriate direction and then cast a glance back over her shoulder.
He goes ahead and shakes his head. I don't din there anymore.
I don't either. But Olaf.
If he's around, yeah.
I'm sure he's back. He must be. All of you should be back.
This is gonna kill you, isn't it? He says, walking in stride with you towards the cabins.
Once he's walking in stride, she won't pause to effect a head tilt, but she will kind of eagerly stride only a little bit ahead of him. She's not going to get outside of a certain distance of him. But she is eager to get back and to, once they're in closer range, to trot directly up onto Olaf's porch and start scratching at his door. And I'm going to shoot him the link real fast. See if I can coax him in. Because the reaction if he doesn't answer the door is a lot worse than the one if he does.
It can't get
But
any
she will,
worse than peeing on the door.
Oh, well, no. That's silly. That's not hers. But she will scratch a few times, pause, and if there isn't a pretty immediate reaction from inside that she can understand or hear, she will start, in a way that's probably kind of alarming and almost frantic, scratching not at the panel of the door itself, but at the corner, the bottom corner where it opens. If you've ever seen a dog that's in a closed room when its owner leaves and it just desperately is trying to get back to them, she just begins scratching, as if she's convinced that she can dig through the door. And she's probably doing some pretty serious damage to the paint, truth be told. So Maeve will start, and if nothing happens to stop her, we'll eventually start pitching out shrill whines and continuing to dig at the corner of the door.
Fairly heavy footfalls come around, and eventually what Maeve hears from offside of the cabin is, "The fuck are you doing to my door?"
Lucas looks to the corner, waves.
Scamper, vault off porch.
I'm getting some weird audio thing where, like, I'm seeing the indicators and then it's coming in, like, way late for some reason.
I got nothing. I don't know.
Could try to reload.
Yeah, let me give that a shot. Oh, I see what happened. I left the live link to this up.
You're my one
Okay.
creeper.
Yep. Yeah, I was. All right, we're good now. So Maebh, I believe, was scampering.
She's essentially going to approach, and again, it's going to be very similar to the treatment she gave Katori, where she's going to kind of hustle to him, and during those last few steps will drop and essentially have her belly on the ground as she squirms in the last little bit and starts just very excitedly greeting him by licking at his muzzle, licking at his face. Just very, very puppyish.
Olaf responds by very serenely staring outward, much like you see wolves do when puppies engage in this kind of behavior. And then eventually just kind of flopping on top of her. So he's laying there, but she is under him, and he's just there.
She'll minimize the wriggling once he's finally, like, once he plops half on her. She'll stop wriggling for the most part and just go more dutifully to grooming at his ruff.
Lucas, for his part, is going to go ahead and grab himself the edge of this particular porch, sit his ass there. Olaf Raya, it's good to meet you. No, excuse me, not meet you. Good to see you this evening.
You smell like blood.
Little bit of a tuffle.
Your blood mostly.
A little bit of a tuffle that I lost.
Happens. He licks his own chops as he rolls his shoulders. So be it. So, anybody want to tell me why young Maebh here felt the need to completely fuck up the new varnish on my door?
I believe, dear Raya, she wanted to meet you very, very urgently and did not realize that you were outside.
She, meanwhile, has gone somewhat disinterested-like at grooming at her paws. Because, well, scratching at doors and splinters are a thing, so she's just kind of nibbling at the toes, making sure there's no splinters. Rendered fairly content.
Olaf actually notices her doing this, and his head dips down, and he gets at one of the spaces between the toe pads and the main pad in the center. And he's there for a second, he's really getting in there, and he comes up and then spits. Got it. Hate it when that happens.
There will be another, like, just idle puppyish lap at the bottom of his muzzle. Essentially a thank you.
So, is this little scuffle something I'm going to need to know about? Or was this just Cleus being Cleus?
Cleus being Cleus. It's not between rank lines, and it doesn't involve any major packs.
Alright. So be it.
Hey, I'm just saying, if he actually went back to the rock, he's not that far away. He can probably see what's going on.
Just to let you know, he's just sitting against the rock, smoking, looking down at the ground.
Olaf starts sniffing at the air. Yeah, I'd say he can identify a cigarette when he smells it.
Maebh just kind of shoves her nose into Olaf's roughened chest, because fuck cigarette smell right now.
There's something I haven't had in a minute. Give me a second. And he just goes straight up to Garrett. Hey.
What?
Give me one.
He looks up. What about them awful ones you smoke?
I'm lazy.
Whatever. He reaches into his coat pocket, pulls out the pack, and flips out a cigarette.
And Olaf takes it in his muzzle and then looks at Garrett expectantly like,
Yeah, I got you. And he lights it.
and Olaf begins smoking in Lupus. Thank you. And then goes back to the other two.
He's getting accusatory looks from around Lucas's feet.
Fuck me. Okay, much better. So, a lot of work to do. Lucas, I need you to not be dodgy ragabash right now.
Okay.
How together is your head?
Goes ahead and rubs his head for a little bit. You were in the basement back in that bug hunt?
Yeah, I remember the bug hunt.
Do you remember how well I bounced after that one?
We may need you sooner than 3 days.
Really?
Welcome back to the waking world, where the war is 24/7.
The left right of my head is as straight as it possibly can right now.
That'll have to be good enough. Either way, I'm not going to task you out just yet. We've got people working. In fact, a couple people owe me reports in due time. Now, Maebh,
She'll twitch an ear but continue idly grooming Lucas's ankle.
Maebh, it tastes like cotton. You're not going to taste anything other than cotton.
Cotton BO.
She flicks the ears back a little bit, just not in aggression, in protest, but is not going to stop. This is her packmate. She's grooming him. She's listening, goddammit.
Okay, suit yourself. Anyway, I'm going to give the lot of you and the others, a couple days. Maybe 3. Yeah, 3 sounds like a good number. And then we're going to be back at it like usual.
Let me roll for this.
Let's see, what day is it?
So Maebh is just going to matter-of-factly state between grooming. I'm not wearing 2 legs.
Cocks his head to the side for a moment. You know, usually I have to talk Comet Cubs into this kind of thing. I approve. You don't want to wear 2 legs. Well, the litany aside, in places where that's not an issue, feel free to be in Lupus. In places where the veil is an issue, you're gonna have to take 2 legs.
Then I will not go there.
And yeah, his tongue does that little rolling thing. Like he's got that
He
lock.
loses that cigarette.
He had that lock for like a couple of the rolls, but then the third one he just stares at it in the snow and he's just like, fucking shit. and of course the snow puts it out too. Just He keeps track of where it is, but then continues. Anyhow, for the moment, I don't see us going to places where Veil is an issue. We may have to revisit this topic in the future, but for now, stay on 4 legs. I appreciate it.
And let's just see how her short-term memory's doing. Not so good, so she is content. And once the cigarette's been out for a couple minutes, she'll actually consider going back over towards Olaf, but it's smelly over there and she doesn't like it.
Fair enough. How long until your band's up?
Spring.
Okay.
And well, to her, this means a particular day. She's not going to be able to express that particular day very well.
Are there any questions that y'all would like to direct at me at this time?
Nope.
I got
Damn it.
nothing, Olaf Rye.
Okay. So, Maebh,
Nope. Twitching ear again.
stay in the Veil protected areas.
Yes. I will go back to the woods.
Okay.
You know, Olaf Rye, I went ahead and picked up a few different projects, actually, in Suffolk County. Looking at that second Karen over at Bohemian County, actually.
And?
I'm pretty good with my eyes. I can make a pretty damn good outline of the area. But you know what I really appreciate? Somebody with a lot more wilderness knowledge than me. Do you mind if I take her over there out with me?
Burke.
As long as the Veil is maintained in the journey. And when you get there, to my knowledge, the place hasn't even been properly warded yet. To my knowledge. I could be wrong.
I can maintain the veil.
That you can.
Any other advice, restrictions you want to go ahead and say out right now?
Don't attract undue attention. Don't piss anybody off. That includes our superiors, who would prefer the lot of us be near on our current footing.
I'll make sure to maintain proper communication and readiness should something happen in the sept and we're called back.
That also means clearing it with me and Miss Whisperaya every time you take her out.
Absolutely.
I don't like the idea of one of us knowing something the other doesn't.
And the mention of Miss Whisper finally stirs it back to the front of her head. And she'll stop her grooming and look perplexed for a second, and then kind of hurriedly hustle herself upright, looking over to Olaf. Chino's still there. Make her send me back.
Olaf's ears flick back. You're asking something I can't give you.
And she finally, since she's got a little more proper thought about her, takes up a very, very recognizable, stubborn sort of posture, and just kind of declares flat out, "If nobody will help me go back, I will find a way to go back."
You will be lost in the deep umbra.
I can't leave him alone.
And you can't do anything for him either.
I will drag him back with my teeth if I have to.
And it will do nothing.
There are ways to do it. There are people who know how to do it.
Have you already forgotten what that place was like?
I haven't. That's why I can't leave him alone.
Only he can get himself out of there. That's a solid fucking fact.
I can't believe that there are not theurges that are capable of going there and bringing someone back.
Returning there is a death sentence.
We know how to leave.
That might be a lesson you need to relearn all over again when you go
Then
back
I will
there.
learn it.
No. I'm
Maeve,
not throwing one of my cubs back into the fucking grinder.
She bristles when she's told no. It's obvious that it's basically body language wise very visible that she becomes more angry.
Raise your hackles all you want. It's not happening.
My pack is not safe.
None of us are, Maebh. The word doesn't exist.
She gets a little intensive. She's about half a second from making a challenging sort of eye contact. She's not quite there yet, but she's definitely approaching it. And she'll look at him and look off in Garrett's direction, and finally cast off in the direction that Miss Whisper's usually hunkered down in. And finally turn around and start nosing at Lucas's legs like she's trying to drive him.
meh, meh.
Like nose, nose, nose. Head shove.
What? You shove him.
She's just trying to get him moving because she wants to leave, but she does not want to leave without him. So she is trying to kind of butt and bully him into going with her.
Before Lucas does much of anything, he goes ahead and looks back to the Grey Wolf and simply says, Olaf Raya, am I dismissed?
Go on.
Thank you, Olaf Raya. He stands up, and he starts to get nosed and bullied away.
She drives her packmate before her. Rar 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 rar.
All the rah, 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 rah.
And when the two leave, Olaf just stares at the cigarette butt for like the longest time before finally relaxes in the Hamid and picks it up, goes into his cabin, probably to throw it in the trash can.
Yay! You feel the little tiny Lucas voice in your head go, yay!
He thought he forgot. Nah, bro.
Anybody want to do anything else?
I will state for posterity that Maeve will probably be angling to get to the area of the North Woods, and if this means sidestepping to get there, so be it. But she's looking to get back to the area that Chino had previously staked out, the little territory he'd marked for himself.
Oh, absolutely. You can go ahead and travel there. You can definitely see, at least smell, Chino's scent still lingering all around the area. You see the ice. You actually see a little bit of the path that he has gone ahead and beaten down into this patch of the North Woods, penumbral side.
Yep. She'll get there.
Everything is
She'll,
there. Everything
she'll-
is there except him.
Damn it. Yeah, no, she'll walk the edge of his marked territory. She'll reset, mark, or scratch to mark with her claws the various points where he has done the same thing, and then come back around to where he denned and probably settle in. That is hers now.
All right. Without further ado, thank you, watchers, for watching. Thank you, players, for playing. We'll see you all again next time in Living World of Darkness, Rage Across New York.